Hello and welcome to Bluejay Business News. Today I'm joined by Rob Edwards, who is Executive Chairman of Bluejay Mining. Bluejay, listed in London on the AIM market in Frankfurt and also on the OTC market in North America, a ticker of JAY and a market capitalisation of around £15 million sterling, which is going to prompt some of the questions. As you may know, Bluejay has mining assets in Scandinavia and in Greenland. Rob, welcome back on the show. Let's come back to that market capitalisation because Bluejay shares are probably trading at almost an all-time low. However, you've just announced that you and some other directors have been purchasing Bluejay shares. Tell us why you're buying now. Remind us, if you will, please, why should other people be investing in Bluejay?
Thanks, Tim. Well, that's a very important point to kick off this interview with. So, first of all, there are 3 points I'd like to talk about around the director's purchase. A, it's the commitment we made and the contract we have with shareholders to stand shoulder to shoulder with them in terms of risk exposure. During the last financing, which we conducted in the closed period, we were unable to participate directly. There's been some further news flow out on the company since then, and we are now free to close our end of the deal, so to speak, on exactly the same terms as equity holders last put money into the company. Secondly, this is about the entry point. So we are living in a bear market, yes. We are living in a very tough funding environment, yes. And is this a cycle? Absolutely. Exploration has cycles just like which go in lockstep with macro cycles and the cycles which affect any mining company. Ours are more accentuated because we're in the exploration game. But if our portfolio, and this is in essence what it comes down to, contains a staggering amount of opportunity. A, we have Disco, which is still the JV we have with Cobalt in Greenland, which has several large nickel sulfide targets within it, and we maintain that belief. We have Kangerlussuaq, which is a district-wide, what we think a lead zinc silver SEDEX system, which has some sulfide activity at depth. We had aimed to drill that this summer. Unfortunately, we were unable to, due to reasons which we've outlined to the market before. And we have the Finnish portfolio as well, which we are focusing on, in notably Hammaslahti, which we have just recently drilled. We hit mineralization on every hole. So when I see news flow like that, it reminds me that despite whatever else is going on in the world, there are minerals on our licenses. There are lots of them. And subject to funding, we will continue to delineate those opportunities.
You mentioned Hammaslahti there. I mean, last week you announced an update on the company's Finnish portfolio. You've also just announced the news of an IPO, a listing for Metals One. What do these various announcements mean for Bluejay and its shareholders?
Well, last week we published a broad update on the Finnish assets that included updates on Hammaslahti, that included the news that Rio are not pursuing the joint venture that we had on Ennenkoski. So they were about to, at that stage in the contracts, typically these farming arrangements reach a control point. And we had reached that control point. Rio had spent over $4.5 million in a very concentrated area around a former mine. Now, we're no longer going to be partners in that JV. Doesn't mean that there's no technical merit on that license area. There are lots of other targets and mafic intrusions which Bluejay may choose to go and delineate by itself or alongside a partner, notably Makala, Havala, and there's also others. The Outokumpu belt, Outokumpu license also has interesting targets in it. So all 3 of our Finnish licenses have hosted former producing mines. That's a great place to look for more metal in the ground. And we're strongly of the opinion that we will achieve exploration success in Finland, and we will continue to attract potentially external capital to help us do that.
Okay, so that's Finland. What's the significance for Bluejay of the Metals One IPO?
Well, junior mining companies can't hang on to everything all the time. We're very lucky enough to have a very wide portfolio. So in the case of Metals One, we have been very encouraged by their progress with listing their own portfolio. Within that portfolio is a former Bluejay asset called the Black Schist project, which contains 2 projects within it. We will end up owning approximately 29% of listed equity in Metals One. We will also be getting a small cash payment, which we hope to receive in a not too distant future. And by doing that, we've monetized about just over £4 million of value in the Black Schist project. And so we wish them every luck with developing that project. It is a project of merit. It's not something that Bluejay chose to pursue, but we've been very encouraged that Metals One have been able to list, particularly in the current market circumstances, in London, and we'll be following their progress very closely.
Thanks for that, Rob. Finally, what news flow should we be looking out for in the coming months?
We aim to publish the assays from the core that we drilled at Hammaslahti. That's the first. Secondly, during the last fundraise, and we've spoken publicly about this, it's important that we tap non-market capital solutions for Bluejay. Those could be other mining companies, those could be strategic pockets of capital, those could be other partners to help us develop. We did very much receive the message, and it was heard loud and clear that, and obviously there's lots of anecdotal evidence for this, that markets are essentially shut for the short to medium term in our space. AIM has been a tough space to raise money in, and the company continues to pivot. So we raise that money to pivot the company. We are pivoting the company, and we aim to attract some strategic money in the short term. So mineral results on Hammaslahti. Secondly, strategic money. And we will also be updating the market on the mineral resource estimate at Dundas, which, as you would notice, and every Bluejay shareholder would have noticed, that we've elected not to spend any money on in the current financial year. So that is being de-emphasised, and we'd very much like to emphasise our base metals portfolio, which is extensive and we believe world-class.
Rob, thanks for all of that. Must come back and keep us informed. That was Rob Edwards, Executive Chairman of Bluejay Mining, telling us where the company is at today. That's it for this edition of Blythe Business News. Thanks for watching.